Hello everyone. I hope everyone is doing good and taking good care of themselves. Remember, if you're feeling fine, you can take better care of your loved ones. So today I'm going to talk about toxic father. Yes, in our society, of course, parents are kept at a very higher level. They are considered like gods, and often we must have heard it in Bollywood that parents are the second gods to a child. And whereas in I absolutely disagree to these kind of statements, because mistakes can be done from anyone, and humans are all about learning and mistakes and doing good. So no one can be God. Like, by just having sex and procreating and bringing in a life, one doesn't become a god. One becomes God with his or her action and the kind of life that they give to others and to their own child. That is what makes them God. Their action, their karma, their behavior, their righteousness, that is what makes them, godly, someone very noble, not just having sex and creating kids. Okay, so now let us understand about the characteristics of a toxic father. And again, before I start this topic, I would like to make it clear that this video is not to demonize fathers or project any kind of hatred towards father. This is basically to identify the problem and create an atmosphere where we all can actually talk about it, address to it, and evolve together and sort it out, and create a healthy environment for us and for our future generation. So if you see, or rather, let me put it this way: if your dad has been constantly criticizing your life choices, maybe bad mouthing your spouse and rolling his eyes at your career path, or an ongoing pattern of abuses and emotional torture kind of a thing towards you for your decisions or for your habits, there is some amount of toxicity. Now let us understand what are the signs of a toxic father. These toxic traits are in everyone, even a toxic daughter, a toxic son, a toxic mother, a toxic mother-in-law, a toxic father, a toxic father-in-law. So no one is untouched. The one-sided narrative is that everything is good and everyone is just godlike. I don't subscribe to that. Good and bad is everywhere, be it parents, be it kids, be it anyone. Yeah. So now let us quickly get into the signs of a toxic father. The first one, he keeps comparing you to your other siblings. Yes, if you are having 2 or 3 siblings, a toxic father would always compare you with the better one, according to him. Each individual is unique and beautiful in their own way. Everyone has their negative and positive aspects, but comparison is a very bad thing, and especially when the comparison comes from someone you love, a father figure or a mother figure or a caregiver. So yes, a toxic father is into comparing you to your other siblings or maybe cousins. That's not a good trait. He should respect you for your individuality, and he should respect you for who you are and for your capability and individuality, rather than expecting you to be like somebody else. We are not clones, we are not zombies, or we are not robots. We are individual beings with conscience, and we all are different and unique. We are beautiful. So a healthy father, or rather a non-toxic father, should actually respect each child's individuality and should never engage into toxicity. But if a father engages into comparison, that is absolutely toxic and a trait of a toxic father. The second one is that he doesn't respect boundaries. So again, a toxic father is all the time just seeing you as an extension of their self and ego, and not identifying you as an individual. So the moment they see you in this way, they don't respect boundaries. I mean, like growing up, you might have your own personal space, you might have, own personal boundaries, and one should respect that. So toxic fathers might not knock before coming in your room or invading your private time or personal space, and I mean, like they might just be poking their nose everywhere. So toxic fathers don't respect boundaries. The next point is the next sign or trait of a toxic father is that he insists on being always right. Yes, toxic parents have this problem. No matter how abusive and toxic and dysfunctional they act, behave, and react, they always have this realization, you can say, that they are always right. In some ways or the other, they are always right, though it might be wrong for the entire world, but they would be having this preconceived notion that they are always right, and they are always thinking the right thing for you, and they are the only one who can decide what is right for you. You can't decide anything for yourself. What you will decide for yourself will be absolute rubbish and wrong. What they will decide for you will be the best and the fittest. So that is how they think. Again, because they don't respect your individuality, they just see you as an extension of themselves. So they don't see you as an individual being. So they see what is right for them is right for you. What is right for them might not be right for you. What is right for you might not be right for them. Yeah, we all are different and unique. Things are different for each one of us. So they have a very generalized view and they don't respect and appreciate that. They have a very generalized opinion that they are always right. The next trait is that you can check out, in yourself, is that whenever you spend time with your father, or when you spend time with him, or whenever you are speaking with him, you have a feeling of being extremely exhausted. Either you are trying to convince him or to make him understand. He's just not open, and you are trying your level best to convince him and show him the other side and the other aspect, the way how you are looking at it, and there is quite a lot of argument and you are just drained and you are having a feeling of burnt out. Yes. So, I mean, that is one of the traits to look out for in yourself, is that whenever you speak, to a toxic father, you are just drained out and you are exhausted, either by spending time with him or by, talking to him. So he's in a different direction, you are in a different direction. He is not even interested to see what direction you are in, and you are just trying your level best to show him your viewpoint and ask him to at least view it and see and understand, but he's not interested. So that is how toxic fathers are. The next trait is that toxic fathers are into constantly playing the victim. Yes, we have heard and we have talked about guilt tripping that these toxic parents do to their kids, but when it comes to fathers and toxic fathers, these toxic fathers are into constantly playing, the victim, because they are in a habit of not taking the blame. Because first, they are not identifying you as an individual and they are not respecting your individuality. And because of that, if you are doing something, these parents are so conscious that they prepare beforehand. So if they are not agreeing to something, and if you do something which they are not agreeing to, and if some problem happens, God forbid, if some problem happens to what you have done, which he was as it is disapproving of, they would not be taking the blame on themselves because they were not understanding. Instead, they were trying to not let you explore. They would immediately get into that state of being victim and play victim Oh, I mean, you hardly listen to me. You do whatever you want to do. I had already told you that this would happen, that would happen. See, in our society, often you all should observe that mistakes are set and seen as huge sins. But I mean, like, from my viewpoint, mistakes are the building blocks of any individual. So, why mistakes are considered to be a taboo? Mistakes can be a learning lesson. We fail in examinations. The same thing happens in life as well. So, what is wrong in doing mistake and learning from it? So, one aspect of a toxic father is that they always play victim, whether it's good happening with you, whether it's bad happening to you, or whatsoever. They just don't want to take the blame. They just want the blame on you, whether it is good or whether it is bad or whatsoever. The blame should be on you, and they are just being victimized. They want to show that is one of the tendencies of a toxic father. The next one is toxic fathers also compete, with their sons and children. They are often, they just don't want them to be more superior to the parents. They want their children to be inferior, always dependent on them, because as it is, they were not validating and respecting their privacy. They expect the children to have that codependency, and when they don't see that codependency and dependent behavior of their child towards themselves, they immediately identify them as a competitor. And that is when they start competing, that, oh, you earn this much, see how much I have earned. Oh, you have done this much, see how much I have done. So they get into competition. They don't want the children to excel or to do more than what they have done. They want their children to be always dependent and less compared to them. So this is a trait of a toxic father. So one of the important traits of a toxic father is that he's the one, he's the hero, he's the victim, he's the perpetrator, he's the villain, he is everyone. So the entire story circles around him only. So that is one of the traits of a toxic father. Another aspect of a toxic father is that there are always strings attached. It's always, strings attached. So if there's, or rather, let me simplify it this way, that there is give and take. So if he picks up your kids, you have to do something for him in the basement or some other chore in the house. So it's not always no strings attached. There's always strings attached. He does something for you and you have to do something in return. So this is one of the traits of a toxic father. And contributing towards family equally is a different thing. But when it comes to toxic father, they have got an absolute different way of looking at things and behaving. So there is always strings attached. Nothing comes free when it is with a toxic father. And a toxic father is impossible to please. You can never please a toxic father. A toxic father can only please himself. So you should not waste your time in pleasing him. He knows what is best for him. He lives in a bubble, and he is not susceptible to any kind of a change. So just let him be happy the way how he is, and don't expect any change from him. So these are some of the traits of toxic father. And again, why am I discussing these traits? This is basically to create positive awareness so that we can encourage individuals to talk about it and work out things, rather than living and feeling, growing up having a feeling of being choked and having a lot of dysfunctional relationships in future. It's better to talk it out and create awareness. Having a toxic mother or a toxic father doesn't mean that you have to end the relationship, but you can always talk about it and how you feel about it to them, and you can create healthy boundaries. So this was all about toxic father. Please do like, share, subscribe the video, and take care of yourself, and do comment below if you have any such experience. Bye.